In a world reminiscent of the magic-laden halls of Hogwarts, an intriguing saga unfolds, as individuals hailing from diverse walks of life converge within the hallowed walls of an enchanted academy. Brace yourself for spellbinding magic, epic sword duels, menacing monsters, and labyrinthine dungeons. These fledgling mages must also navigate the intricate web of political machinations that tangle the world around them. With Oliver Horn being the protagonist of this story, let's see how these fates align. As the protagonist heads to the entrance ceremony, a magic flower warns him of his fate. He meets a girl with a similar premonition when another student arrives, dismissing the flower's words. More students appear around the protagonist before a girl dressed like a samurai passes by, capturing their gazes. The protagonist feels a destined connection. A magical fauna parade commences, showcasing a dragon among other creatures. The girl finds it inhumane to have a troll paraded, which sparks an argument with a fellow student. A third student steps in to calm the situation. After the argument is done, the girl tries introducing herself, but suddenly a spell by another student makes her sprint towards the parade, directly at the troll. The other students chase after her. She stops right in front of the troll, but before it can attack, the samurai girl steps in, intimidating the troll into stopping momentarily. She draws her blade while the protagonist proposes a wind spell strategy to the rest. As the girls fight, the others create a large spell while Oliver uses dragon voice to distract the troll. The girl's hair turns a pristine white, the sign of the innocent color, before she incapacitates the troll. During the entrance ceremony, the protagonist questions the girl on whether she had any plan. Turns out she was just winging it. The protagonist thinks of the innocent color ability, remarking how it shows a great potential for magic. The principal, Esmeralda, emerges and dives into Kimberly Magic's Academy's core principles, freedom, and results. She cautions students that only 80% usually graduate unscathed, while the rest become spellbound casualties. She then welcomes questions, and a unique tip on relieving headaches comes from the samurai girl. Following this unconventional advice, the principal directs the students to the banquet hall. Seniors warmly greet the freshmen as they initiate the lavish banquet. The students reunite and introductions finally unfold. Michaela McFarland from the esteemed Farland family is the blonde girl. Katie Alto, an exchange student from Farland, follows. The red-headed guy, Greenwood, hails from a lineage of magical farmers. Pete Reston, originating from non-magical parents, prefers solitude and reading. Our protagonist is Oliver Horn, adept at crafting spells. Then there's Nanao Hibiya, the samurai girl from Torikuesen. Yamatsukuni, who was saved by a mage named McFarlane. The realization dawns on Michaela that her father, who is a part-time lecturer at Kimberly, was the one who saved Nanao and recommended her to the academy. After a bit of banter, the day passes and the students head to their dorms, with Oliver and Pete as roommates. Oliver wakes up early and heads outside, where he finds a covert operative sent by Gwen, Oliver's elder brother. The operative's name is Teresa Croste. She tells Oliver he can call for her anytime. Oliver moves forward and finds Nanao bathing in the fountain. He quickly casts a veil around them and tells Nanao off for publicly bathing in view of the men's dorm. He then questions her over the scars on her body before recalling someone else while looking at her. He gives her his coat to dry off. The students head to sword arts class together. The teacher is Luther Garland. In class, Pete discusses the sword arts performed using athames to help mages in close combat. Developed 400 years ago after a famous mage named Wilf Batterwell lost a duel to a non-magical opponent. Luther then asks for volunteers to start a duel to begin the class. Nanao wants to participate with Richard, opting in as well. Oliver volunteers as well after realizing that Richard intends to test and bully Nanao. Richard stands against the idea when Michaela intervenes and says she'll duel Richard instead. Taking the heat off Oliver, Luther accepts and tells Oliver and Nanao to begin the duel after casting an anti-lethality spell on their swords. After giving the rules, the duel begins. Once Nanao invokes Innocent Color, Oliver abandons his intention to hold back. The duel shifts into full gear, with Nanao propelling Oliver on the defensive. Amidst the clash, Oliver grasps the grim truth that Nanao's blade has claimed numerous lives. Unexpectedly, tears stream down Nanao's face mid-duel. Determined to quell her sorrow, Oliver resolves the battle relentlessly, even if it means risking his life. Luther intervenes, halting the duel. He points out that the two inadvertently broke the anti-lethality spell, bringing the confrontation to an abrupt halt. After their intense duel, Nanao compliments Oliver and suggests a rematch. Oliver firmly declines, refusing a potential deadly fight. Nanao is puzzled by his refusal. In the next class is Spellology, taught by Frances Gilchrist. Then Vanessa Aldis leads Magical Biology. The class explores using magical creatures to their fullest, starting with magical silkworms that turn into monsters if fed too much magic. The task the teachers assign is to acquire 5 silkworm cocoons out of 10 without turning them monsters. Michaela quickly clears the test and aids Nanao, urging Oliver to assist the others as he's finished. Meanwhile, Katie diligently tends to her 10th silkworm, aiming to save all without harm. Unfortunately, her final silkworm transforms, prompting Oliver's intervention, leading to a point deduction. Post-class, Oliver tends to Katie's wounds, and she shares her family's connection with animals, including a troll named Patro. She aspires to advocate for all living beings' rights, a cause Oliver finds admirable. Soon the rest of the group joins them. Outside, Oliver meets Teresa. She tells him to avoid making weak friends before stating that she'll be gone for a while. During dinner, Pete states that he forgot his book. Oliver and Michaela get up to accompany him because the academy gets dangerous at night. This is because of the labyrinth the academy is built upon, as it encroaches the academy after dark. After retrieving the book, the three head back, but soon find themselves trapped as the labyrinth encroaches. A woman named Ophelia Salvadori, a fourth-year student, approaches the three. Oliver knows her from her rather unorthodox theses. No soon after does Ophelia release a mist that seems to put people under her control. Oliver and Michaela resist it before running off with Pete, but they stumble into Cyrus Rivermore, a fifth-year student. Ophelia catches up, boxing the gang between two unsavory characters. Cyrus and Ophelia start trading remarks and things heat up when Cyrus calls her a Salvadori succubus. This sets off Ophelia and a fight ensues. Their summoned creatures clash, creating a chance for the team to escape, but it's short-lived as Cyrus blocks their path. Just then, Nanao appears. She shatters the barrier in front of Oliver and the group, declaring her intention to protect them. Nanao charges into the battle, with Oliver close behind. At that moment, Alvin Godfrey, the student body president, arrives. He dispels the summoned creatures, ending the confrontation. Another senior, Carlos Withrow, shows up and manages to subdue Ophelia. Alvin arranges for the departure of Cyrus and Ophelia before he and Carlos guide the group out of the labyrinth. When the gang reunites, Oliver erupts in anger over Nanao's impulsive action, but Michaela soothes him. They all gather near the fountain, where Michaela inquires about Nanao's motivation. Nanao reveals that the aftermath of war has left her feeling detached from life, her mind clouded by the acts of killing. She recounts being saved during the war by Michaela's father, which adds complexity to her emotions. Nanao longs for an honorable death in a fair fight against someone she respects, like the battle she had with Oliver. Katie simplifies this to Nanao feeling rejected, but Oliver and feeling down. Michaela counters that Nanao must change her outlook and not seek death. Oliver asks her to promise him that she won't try to get herself killed anymore. Nanao promises him and asks everyone to teach her how to live her life here moving forward. Next day, Nanao gets especially close to Oliver, and it looks like Katie gets a bit jealous. In class, a student asks Luther if he can use Spellblade, a technique that, when used within distance, will kill any opponent. Luther states that there are 6 types of Spellblades and the technique is kept secret from the public. As such, he doesn't disclose whether he knows the technique. After the lecture, Richard comes along and starts being an annoyance. Oliver eventually agrees to duel him, but Nanao notices that Oliver intends to deliberately lose. She's against the idea, but Luther steps in before things escalate. Michaela confides in Oliver, sharing that she knows Richard since childhood. Their constant comparisons fueled Richard's need to flaunt his strength, a behavior that stemmed from the fear of losing his standing. Suddenly, Pete arrives with news that Katie has rushed off to protect the troll, as the academy plans to put it down. Over at the scene, Katie engages in a dispute with a teacher, insisting she can prevent the troll from harming anyone. The gang arrives just as Darius Grenville casts a spell on Katie. Before things escalate, a fourth-year student named Vera Milligan arrives, accompanied by Luther. They manage to defuse the tension. Vera emphasizes with Katie's cause, asserting her commitment to advocating for rights. She extends her support to Katie and encourages her to reach out if needed. As the gang walks back, they receive a message that Richards wants to duel Nanao and Oliver. Katie and Vera approach the caged troll, offering it food. Meanwhile, the others discuss accepting the duel with Richard. In a classroom, students mock Katie for being with the troll. Guy is angered by the group when it advises against a confrontation. Katie enters the room and becomes a target for bullying. When things escalate, Oliver intervenes with a spell, leading to a fight between the gang and the bullies. As a result, Oliver, Nanao, and Guy are confined to detention. Katie and the others visit the detained trio, where Katie apologizes sincerely. Michaela informs Oliver and Nanao that the entire freshman class is now against them, jeopardizing the fairness of the planned duel. The following day, the group is guided to the designated duel area inside the labyrinth. They arrive at a vast Coliseum filled with fellow students. Everyone except Nanao and Oliver takes their places among the spectators. Richard steps forward, announcing an exhibition battle. Kobolds are released into the arena, and Richard swiftly defeats them. He then approaches Oliver, proposing a different challenge, a kobold hunting game. Oliver realizes Richard's expertise and considers using this to let him win. Amidst this, the crowd laughs at a terrified kobold attempts to escape. Another mage mistreats this frightened creature. Outraged by the cruelty, Nanao scolds the entire crowd for their inhumane behavior. In response, they throw trash at Nanao. She walks away from the arena, urging Oliver to do the same. Some students try to stop her, and Nanao seems more willing to fight them instead of the kobolds. Suddenly, a divine beast familiar, Garuda, appears out of nowhere and starts attacking students left and right. The overpowered creature turns the hunters into the hunted. Richard flees and Nanao intervenes to shield him from the attacking Garuda, engaging in a fierce battle with the creature. As the others deal with the kobolds, Oliver joins Nanao in the fight, offering mutual support. However, Oliver gets injured by the Garuda and retreats briefly to heal. During this respite, he encounters Richard. Their conversation potentially ignites some determination in Richard. Oliver returns to the battle, aligning with Nanao. Together they gain the upper hand, staggering the Garuda with a spell. Nanao moves in for the final blow, but the Garuda recovers swiftly. In a crucial moment, Oliver steps between Nanao and the beast, just as the Garuda is about to attack. Richard intervenes, pushing the creature back. The split-second action grants Nanao the opening she needs to deliver the decisive blow, defeating the Garuda. Oliver and Nanao thank Richard and offer comfort. Oliver praises Richard for his bravery, while Nanao calls him a comrade in arms. Their words seem to leave a different impression on Richard as he walks away. Oliver converses with Teresa, who apologizes for her absence during the Coliseum incident. Meanwhile, the troll finally eats the food Katie brings him. After class, Oliver reflects on the Coliseum incident and suspects it might be linked to a demi-human rights activist. He realizes that if the situation escalates into a factional conflict, the faculty won't likely intervene. Meanwhile, Nanao gains attention from admirers, while Oliver, due to his complicated and less flashy tactics, doesn't receive as much popularity. Michaela decides to give Oliver a victory kiss to acknowledge his skills. Nanao arrives, catching wind of Michaela's intention, and playfully plants a kiss on Oliver's cheek before Michaela can do so. She then requests a kiss as well, thoroughly embarrassing Oliver. Despite his reluctance, Oliver eventually gives in, leaning in for the kiss, only to be interrupted by the arrival of his cousin. The cousin greets Oliver with a hug and kiss, leaving the gang curious. Oliver explains his past stay with her and her family. In alchemy class, the teacher, Darius Grenville, educates the students about alchemical dangers before assigning potion work. Oliver spends his time assisting others to prevent major mishaps. Adrius recognizes Oliver's talent but cautions him to choose his friends wisely. After class, Richard warns Oliver about Adrius, who tends to exploit talented students for his own gain. Grateful for the warning, Oliver thanks him. Richard then informs Katie and the group that his associate wishes to meet them. The gang meets a girl and she confesses to Katie that she was the one who cast the spell on her during the entrance ceremony. She apologizes sincerely and says that she doesn't know who angered the troll in the first place. Once the meeting concludes, Katie decides to visit the troll herself, while Oliver begins instructing Nanao in magic. During Katie's interaction with the troll, he finally communicates with her, urging her to stay away due to the danger posed by a certain individual. Meanwhile, Vera suspiciously observes from the sidelines. During training, Nanao hints that the troll might have been trying to escape. Oliver seizes on this observation and rushes with Nanao to the troll's location, discovering Katie's missing, with her Atame left behind. The troll suggests she might have been taken where it was once imprisoned. Feeling a sense of urgency, Oliver and Nanao head into the labyrinth, suspecting a larger conspiracy involving manipulation of the troll's mind. Oliver believes the culprit is likely an expert in demi-human biology. As they consider seeking help from Godfrey, they are suddenly transported to where Vera is. Greeting Oliver and Nanao, Vera discloses that the Garuda was her familiar. Their attention then shifts to Katie, who is lying nearby. Vera states that the troll she had experimented on had refused to speak to her, yet spoke with Katie. She intends to take a look at Katie's brain to see where her talent comes from. Nanao takes up arms and rushes towards Vera, but she nearly petrifies Nanao. Vera reveals her basilisk eye, a power that can turn anyone into stone. We can't wait to find out what happens next in the coming episodes. Don't forget to smash that subscribe and like button and leave a comment down below.